My name's Shehan Karunatilaka. I'm the author of 2 novels, a short story collection, and lots of kids' books. My last novel, The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida, won the Booker Prize last year, and I've been traveling and talking about it ever since. Well, I don't know if I chose it. It's maybe the way the voice turned out. Maali Almeida is a bit of a cynic and he's got a bit of a catty sense of humor, but also I think maybe it's the Sri Lankan way of dealing with trauma. We crack jokes all the time, even in the darkest of circumstances. We tend to crack jokes, and maybe that's a defense mechanism of dealing with difficult situations. But we always like to smile and make fun of things. So yeah, the subject matter I knew was difficult. We're talking about the war and disappearances and murders. But I think the humor made it interesting for me to write, and hopefully it'll be easier to read. Well, I don't know that I thought that. I thought I was writing a ghost story. And so I read lots of horror books as a kid, and that's the tradition I was really looking at, because magical realism is Garcia Marquez, Bolaño, Bulgakov, Atwood. These are the masters. I didn't really think Rushdie. I wasn't going to attempt to do something on that scale. But I guess a ghost story, you have demons, you have hungry ghosts and spirits and all of that. So it just seemed like an interesting way of tackling the Sri Lankan Civil War by looking at how the dead look at the living. And so that's why I started it. And it ended up being called magical realism, but that wasn't the intention. I thought I was writing a conventional ghost story. Look, it means everything. I mean, it's the center of culture. I think when you're writing as a Sri Lankan writer, you might expect to be published in India, but nothing beyond that. It's very rare that we get books that travel. So for me, the first frontier was to get published in the UK and America. But after that, you want to get into all the other great literatures. And French literature, I remember studying French cinema especially as a young man, and reading Camus and Sartre and even going back, Baudelaire and Victor Hugo and all of this stuff. And so my first book, there was a chance it was going to be published in French, but it didn't happen, and that was really disappointing. And now this book has been translated into many languages. It is a great feeling that now I'm in Paris at the end of a tour, and the books can be read in that language. So yeah, it means a lot. It means that at least there'll be someone there to read my third book. You never expect when you're writing in Sri Lanka, but at least now there's an audience. So actually, French cinema is really, I remember ever since seeing Amélie, quite a few years ago, I kind of watched everything of that director's oeuvre, and then I just started being obsessed with French cinema. And I'm writing a kind of office comedy, and I find myself watching that TV show Call My Agent over and over again and taking notes. And I think I've always enjoyed the French kind of sense of humor and sensibility and reverence for the arts. In terms of literature, apart from the classics, I think I need to read more contemporary French writing, because maybe I haven't read enough. But I've always had some reverence for it, and always open to discovering new writers in different languages. There's a lot of commonality, and there's a lot of ties with Sri Lanka. We grew up with the Alliance Francaise, and we all grew. That was seen as art. As Hollywood and English stuff was the fun stuff. To us, to be published in French is like a real achievement, and so we've always had that reverence to it.